So in 1994, I was living in Orlando. I had dropped out of college the year before, and I was living with my friend Scott. We had just recently returned from being homeless. We were living in my car, traveling the country, and we had just got back. This is the third time I had ever done acid. Um, my friend Elaine sold it to us. She sold us four hits, and me and Scott, we each took one hit around 9 o'clock at night, and we just had like kind of a pretty cool normal like in-house trip. We played some Ocarina of Time. We painted our fingernails, which I still do. Scott was very much on the metal end of punk. I mean, he was very much into punk, but he was also very into metal. So we had like a pretty normal, just a good trip. Not super strong, I wouldn't say, but you know. And I guess about 4 in the morning, we were coming down. We knew that there's something strange about acid, which is that if you trip, you can't really trip the next day. It literally, it just doesn't work. But we didn't know, like, well, what if we take another hit while we're coming down? You know, won't that just extend things out? And that's exactly what it does and what it did. You know, we took that second hit at about 4 a.m. and from 4 a.m. till about 8 p.m. that night, so another 14 hours, we felt great, not even tired. And at about 7 o'clock in the morning, we decided to go to church, because there was a church like right down the street. Got scared and we didn't actually go in. So we walked around like the school, and we walked around the neighborhood, and Scott wasn't really talking, but I was on a mission. I was ranting. I distinctly remember, like, I found every color. Like, I found a perfect example of, like, every color. Like, oh, there's blue, there's yellow, you know? We had some orange. We kept stopping, like, to get orange juice and stuff. And I remember I kept playing with the bottle cap of the orange juice in my hand. Bottle caps are for losers. Drugs are fine. It's the bottle caps that'll get you. And then probably about 12, we were like, wait a minute, that movie Natural Born Killers just came out, right? Let's go see that motherfucker. So we got in my car, like not really tripping hard at all. We were just really spaced out. Even though I definitely don't recommend ever driving while under the influence of anything, I used to be really good at it, and I did it a lot, like especially somehow on LSD. There were some situations, like there was one night where I drove back from Boone, North Carolina to Johnson City, Tennessee. Look that up. That twisty mountain road, like peaking by myself, listening to the Flaming Lips the whole way. It was on the way over at a red light. The woman in front of me slams on her brakes, and I slam on my brakes, and we stopped fine. Did not hit the person in front of me. I was like, oh, that's cool. Boom! Somebody runs into me and, you know, rear ends me. I'm only 19. I didn't I had insurance and everything, like, but I didn't really know yet, like, oh, that's 100% their fault. And I wasn't really like freaking out. I knew that I probably wouldn't get in trouble because obviously I didn't do anything, but I was still freaking out a little bit. The cops came and talked to us. It took me quite a while to remember my name and Scott's address. It took me like 5 minutes. But one of the cops, he saw that I had a Tennessee driver's license, and he was like, hey, I'm from Knoxville, what's up? And he was very so I was immediately put pretty much at ease. The cops were not giving us a hard time at all. The person who had rear-ended me, they had not done any damage to my car. There was a tiny dent in my Sonic Youth sticker, but their Jeep was destroyed. It was a little Geo, one of those little Geos. And it was being driven by like a teenage girl who didn't have a driver's license, and she was with a much older man. So the cops were just like, you can go, you're fine. Here's your thing for your insurance, you know. Have a good day. So we got out of there, but obviously that meant we missed the showing we were going to. We missed we had to go to the next showing. So we were like, well, let's just kill a little time. We walked around the mall, just sort of did a lap around the mall, which was kind of great. It's like the air conditioning, just walking through it, just made me feel very much like I was above everything. And then we sat in Burger King for a minute, and I remember listening to some couple like arguing, and I remember just thinking like how stupid their argument was and just how meaningless it was. And then we finally went and saw Natural Born Killers. It was pretty great. It was like life changing, to be honest. Especially because of the soundtrack. I don't know if you're familiar with the soundtrack, but it's one of the greats. And at the end of it, I remember Scott sounded exactly like Beavis. He was just like, "Yeah, let's go, let's do that. Let's go kill everybody." And I had to be like, "Settle down, Beavis. We're not going to do that. That wasn't exactly the point of the movie." But it's just such a good, like, nothing stressful about it. It's just like such an amazing experience. Especially, like I said, the soundtrack. And like to this day, it's embedded in my brain. And like I said, after that, we were still like, even for several hours after that, we were still feeling pretty good. We wandered around. Still didn't eat anything. I truly don't remember when I ever ate anything that day. But I mean, I was 19. I had some orange juice. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I don't know if I want to say that was the best trip I've ever had, but it might have been. It's definitely top 3, because there was this one time me and my ex-girlfriend took Molly, and that's definitely a top 3. And that, ironically, that's the only good experience I ever had on Molly, because that stuff's usually just kind of weak.